Hello and welcome. We are so excited to have you with us today. I'm Dallin Labrum, Director of Sales with ProdataKey, and here with me today is Jeff Perry, COO and President of ProdataKey.
We're very excited to be here today. Those of you that know ProdataKey know that we're extremely passionate about what we do. We continue to push the envelope on development and the design of new products. And we've come out with a new line of controllers that are completely re-engineered, that focus very closely on the vision of our company of developing security, a product that's easy to use, and something that's cost effective for the industry, making it more available for more platforms that you'll be installing in. Completely redefining access control as a physical security product. Introducing PDK Red.
Color has an enormous impact on our emotions, our perceptions, and our spiritual and physical well-being. That's exactly why we developed Red. A product design with passion for those that are passionate about what they do and how they do it. PDK's Red is truly in a class of its own as a physical security product. When defining Red, we went far beyond passion though. From design to development, we view it as powerful, daring, and confident. It speaks to the security and usability of a platform used more than any other part of a building's framework. Sometimes we can lose a connection with brand names, jumping between systems throughout a career, always in search of something that can deliver a better user experience. So the reason to use PDK's Red is simply logical. Usability and performance are the two things that will give you a competitive edge and continue to deliver value. It's that simple. For me, access control has to fall into three major categories. Security being number one. Next, it has to be easy to use when installing, all the way to the users and managers of the platform. Finally, the installer and user must have access anywhere, anytime, on any device. With unrivaled ease of use, Red gives you the ability to take complete control from the palm of your hand. From installer to admin or end user, that control must be simple, yet include all the power expected to manage a system of its stature. It must react quickly and compete at the highest level of performance, far beyond the expectation. To me, security is everything. Some say connected devices are not that important, but for me they are. I've installed a lot of access control over the years, and connected devices breathe life into the security of a platform. With real-time updates and vulnerability monitoring, Red discovers threats and mitigates them before they become an issue. Security doesn't just begin or end at the LAN, it starts with the reader. Red delivers a powerful lineup of readers with optional mobile credentials and OSDP connectivity, further ensuring ease of use and that secure data is delivered from the credential all the way through the LAN or wireless connectivity. Auto discovery of a built-in Ethernet connection also allows you to find controllers faster with fewer touches with IT departments. And if you come up against a project needing wireless, adding that functionality is simple. PoE can also be added in a similar fashion. Simply add the PoE module to deliver up to 1 amp per port of available power. PDK Red monitors power, battery, and connectivity, delivering this information through message or dashboard. When a system can tell you what is happening, you immediately become more proactive. Being proactive in this industry delivers significant value across the board. Every aspect of an advanced system like Red has to speak to you, help every individual manage the system and do so effortlessly, anywhere, anytime, on any device. You never know what your next job will be. You know you can always configure PDK Red to adapt to whatever job you throw at it. Having the best gives you more time to be your best. At the end of the day, the system you use has to be a Swiss Army knife. But irrespective of how good your tools may be, delivering value will always be king. But you need great tools to deliver significant value. And that's why professionals choose Red.
I cannot watch that video without feeling the emotion, without thinking of the sacrifice and the unlikeliness of breaking into the access control market. I'm very grateful to be a part of this, and hopefully you can see and feel the thought and the care that went into PDK Red. PDK Red has a few new controllers that come with it. We have the PDK-1, which is a single door controller or a one port controller, which will be available at the beginning of Q3. We also have the R2. So we have the R1, and then we also have the R2 controller. The R2 controller is available now. That's the controller we're going to market with immediately. You'll be able to pick that up and order it from your local distributor. We also have the R4, a 4-door controller or a 4-port controller. That will be available at the beginning of Q4. And then we will also have the RA8. The RA8 is an auxiliary controller with 8 ports of auxiliary control. Jeff, do you want to talk a little bit about the feature sets that come with the R series?
I do. The first thing I want to show is the new enclosure size. This was something that was important for us to really unify the size of the enclosure between all the new controller line. So if you see the R2 that's in the enclosure here, it's got a lot of room for wiring. We've also increased the sizes of the knockouts, and we've increased the size of the base of the enclosure, allowing for a full 7 or 8 amp hour battery. So you're increasing the amount of battery backup. But like we talked about before, this really streamlines between all of the controllers that are in the new Red lineup. If you look at the R2 that's in here, as well as the R1, fits in the same enclosure and the same PIM layout. And then you'll notice the R4, which is slated for release in a few months, that also fits in the same enclosure, giving you plenty of room, again, for greater battery backup, unifying the enclosure size, and making it more unified between all of the different controllers.
Yeah. So, if you ever need to get a replacement or you get onto a project and you have a customer that wants to add more doors after the fact, it's going to be really easy for us to just send you the controller itself, and you'll be able to swap it out into any can with the new R line. Are we going to be offering any extended can sizes, Jeff?
We will. We'll actually have 2 additional extended can sizes. One is the XL for those that are currently using our 8-door controller. No, the 8XL can. That is now going to be available for the 4-door controller, but again, has the same PEM layout, so if you needed to swap that out and put a 2 or a 1 in there, you'll easily be able to do that. We're also releasing an XXL enclosure that's going to have the capacity of 21 total doors for larger or enterprise style systems. So we're really excited about these 2 new enclosure sizes that will, again, streamline the continuity between all of the controllers, allow you to install larger applications in smaller spaces. So we're really excited about that. Another thing that we want to talk about today is the all-new power management system. This is very unique to PDK, and again, really defines the passion that we have around the platform. When I installed access control, it was always trying to determine what power supply I'm going to use for any specific application. So this for us was something that was important to define and to solve for the industry. So you're going to find that every one of our controllers is going to come with the appropriate power supply for the controller. Now, can you utilize a separate power supply? The answer is absolutely. We're very close partners with Ultronics. Any of those power supplies will continue to function. And we also have the ability to put any of our controllers into their Trove cans. So there's a lot of flexibility there when it comes to power and how you want to manage the power. But again, it was important for us to provide a power supply with every controller out there. The larger power supply that will come with the R4 will be a 5 amp power supply. You'll be able to plug it in. But on the backbone of these power supplies that are going to be provided, the power management system monitors power input, power output. It also monitors your battery. We're one of the only access control platforms that offers battery management on board, and that's all provided by the power management system. We can tell you how much power is available. We can tell you whether a specific input has been shorted, and send alerts on these different things. Again, like you saw in the video, allowing you to be way more proactive about your support approach. So instead of receiving a contact from a customer saying, hey, my door isn't functioning properly, they had a power outage, now you, as the security company or the technician, are receiving that notification and able to roll a truck many times before your customer even knows that there's an issue. This is extremely powerful and delivers an immense amount of value to our customers.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things I talk about in every video is partner fanaticism. It's our #1 core value. Our partners are our dealers and integrators and also our distributors that we work with hand in hand. And by and large, one of the biggest requests that we have gotten is the ability to proactively manage power, to know when the battery is almost dead, to know when there was a power outage, to know all of these things ahead of time. And that is what PDK Red offers, among some more features.
Yeah, let's talk about the built-in Ethernet. Now, this is very unique to us because all of those that have used PDK before know that we had individual modules. We had an Ethernet module as well as a wireless module. With the built-in Ethernet module, this now allows every board to come with Ethernet capabilities. If you see the R2 as well as the R1 and the R4 all come with these Ethernet connections built onto them. What's so unique about this is we not only have added additional functionality and an additional connection that comes on every board, but we've also decreased the overall cost per door of the controllers themselves. So as you start to see these controllers roll out, you're going to see a decrease in overall cost of your per door installation. Now, talking about the built-in Ethernet, if I'm wanting to do a network-based access control platform, I'm going to purchase my controllers, I'm going to install them, plug them into the network, and in the past, we're used to have to discover your controllers and then go in and change the IP address to a static IP address. Now, the Ethernet module is 100% plug and play. You're going to take the controller, plug it in, receives a DHCP, and automatically discovers all of your controllers. For those that are familiar with WiMAX Wireless, it's going to discover them the exact same way. You'll then go into those controllers, add a name to them, do any configuration that you have there, and your system is set up. So we're streamlining the installation process, again, delivering more value not just to you, but also delivering more value to your customers in less interactions with the IT department. I can't tell you the number of times where I've went and sat with IT departments trying to strategize on IP addresses and how we're going to function. Now, when you're interacting with the IT department, you're talking about IP ranges that you might utilize. Plug these in, they're going to utilize that range on a DHCP, and no need, though you can set them to a static IP, they will be plug and play out of the box. A lot of power behind that. And then OSDP connectivity. This has been a topic for a long time. OSDP has been out for a while, and there's been a lot of revolution around OSDP and the usability of it, the security of it, and we wanted to make sure that we did it right. So on the new R1, R2, and R4, all of them will come with OSDP functionality. They will still allow you to utilize a standard Wiegand reader, but every one of them will also allow OSDB connectivity. And that OSDB connectivity, as many of you might be aware, allows you to utilize multiple readers.
Yeah, so you can string up to 4 readers per port, and that's going to be really useful. We've already found a lot of additional applications. But again, I'm going to speak to the partner fanaticism of all of this. How many times have we heard, man, WiMAX wireless with PDK is the absolute easiest to use access control in the market. I wish your network solution was as easy as your wireless. We heard our partners, we heard our dealer partners and our integrator partners, and we have made our network solution as easy as our wireless WiMAX solution. I'm very excited about that. I'm also excited, even though high security has not been in huge demand, it is growing exponentially, and we want to be able to equip our dealer partners with the high security options and readers, not only just high security readers, but high security from the reader to the controller, and from the controller to the cloud node, and from the cloud node to the cloud. You'll have a completely secure solution.
So when you look when you look at like a read-in, read-out application, and you're using an R1 and it only has one reader input, now if you're utilizing OSDP, you can connect 2 readers, your in and your out reader, because there's two-way communication between the reader and the controller, and allows us to identify both of those readers as read in and read out. So it's a very unique application. It not only allows us to update the controller through the LAN, there's over-the-air upgrades, but we can also upgrade all the way to the reader. If you're utilizing a PDK Red reader that we'll introduce here in just a moment, those PDK Red readers can be updated through the OSDP protocol. And we already have hundreds of the R1 and R2 controllers out in the field as part of our beta program. The release, as Dallin said, is going to be next week on the R2, and we're very excited about that. And we've already sent many over-the-air updates to the R2 and the R1 controllers. So now you have a product that essentially never goes out of date and continues to provide value to your customer, something that is invaluable that you can sell to your customer.
So that means when new reader updates come up, when new protocols or features that we need on a reader come out, you're not going to have to swap the reader out for something new. You'll be able to upgrade the firmware. It's really exciting to be able to offer a future-proof solution from the reader all the way to the cloud node, all the way to the cloud, all the way to our easiest to use user interface.
Yeah, one thing that you'll find is that now that we've added an Ethernet module on each one of these controllers, we've got 2 new module kits that are very unique.
Now let's talk about the module kits. So every single PDK Red reader or Red controller is going to come standard network. This is pretty exciting. So you'll just have network connectivity, you'll plug and play, and then if you want to utilize PoE or wireless, you'll be able to use one of the expandable module kits. And this makes it very easy for you to order. That's one of our goals, and one of the feedbacks, one of the major feedbacks that we've gotten from our dealer and integrator partners is, hey, we need to make it easier to order. And we already have. You guys have noticed with our SKU numbers, they're very small, they're very easy to memorize and very easy to order. Well, we want to make it even easier. So when you order our readers or our controllers now, you'll simply order them, it'll come network, and then you'll be able to upgrade them to either a wireless or a PoE module. And I believe they'll be pushing about 1 amp per port with the PoE, is that right?
That's correct. We are utilizing a new technology, the PoE++, and there's some unique technology behind that allows us to not just power the controller itself, but continue to deliver up to at least 1 amp per port of available power on each of the controllers. Again, that's the R1, the R2, and the R4, as well as the A8 will all have functionality to be PoE. And it just comes as a daughter board. Ordering that as a kit, you snap it onto the controller, and it immediately enables that controller to be PoE. And as Dallin noted, the wireless kit continues to use our same WiMAX wireless technology that most of you have used and come to love, but now comes as a kit. So if I'm in the field and determine that a door needs to be wireless, I can have a couple of these kits on my truck or in my van that allow me to just snap that on, and now I turn a controller from a network-based controller to a wireless controller. A lot of functionality and a lot of flexibility, which we've been known for many years, but we've streamlined that and made it even more plug and play. Let's talk a little bit about our new Red readers. We're very excited about this. Like we talked about, OSDP is so important to us. This increased security, really defined as our vision. Because we're talking to each of these new red readers through the OSDP protocol, it also allows us to do these over-the-air upgrades that I talked about. That's very unique. These are also utilizing the 13.56, the high-frequency communication, but can also be ordered in 125 kilohertz standard procs as well. And I can have both of those communication structures at the same time. So if I'm installing in an application where you've got two different credential types, I can utilize both of those credential types. And then you're also going to find that we have mobile credentials that are going to be available towards Q3 of this year on these readers. Now that's unique. So now I can come in and use OSDP as a new standard for high security applications. I can use them for standard procs applications, and I can also utilize them for Bluetooth or what we call mobile credentials in the future. Most of you that know us know that we want to continue to streamline the mobile credential application. And in the past, most of our competitors have had to utilize third-party servers or ordering credentials from a third-party application in order to put mobile credentials into their platform. This has been something important to us from day one of releasing mobile credentials, is releasing an application that allows you to receive mobile credentials directly from the PDK application. So now with the new red readers, you'll be able to install that reader, go right to the mobile app, issue a mobile credential, very similar to the way that you've done our touch readers in the past, and immediately that individual will utilize that mobile credential. And then we continue to support our touch credential, which is our mobile app credential, allowing you to open a door remotely from anywhere, anytime, on any device that you might be utilizing, but certainly directly from the touch app, which is very unique and we're excited about. So we'll continue to support the touch application, the credential that's included there. The mobile credentials will be available in Q3 on the new red readers. And then again, your high frequency as well as standard procs on the all new red readers.
So one of the things that really startled me the other day, I was walking through Smith's grocery store and I saw a little kiosk that showed that you could duplicate a Wiegand card. Well, that was something that we hadn't seen before, right? And this is going to be something that is going to push a lot of your customers towards high security, high frequency, and give them the ability to offer a high security credential.
And you'll find these high security credentials, again, 13.56 megahertz. They come in a wide range of applications. You've got key fobs and cards. And these can come in not only the high security, but they're also going to have memory built onto them. So in essence, it really is a smart card.
Yeah. So we're going to have the 4K and the 8K. The 8K are going to allow you to put if you're using a proprietary software or your customer is, your end user, you're going to be able to load whatever they're needing to use on it. We're also going to have mag strip cards. And they do have an ABA certified mag line. What that means is your banking customers are going to have added user functionality with PDK's new red credential line. So it's really exciting. So we're going to have procs, we're going to have high frequency. You can't duplicate these. These MyFair cards, they're the ones that have not been duplicated. People are going to have tons of confidence getting these cards for their business, knowing that no one's going to be able to have access to their business without their permission.
We're, again, very passionate about what we do. We're very excited about the all-new PDK Red lineup that includes the new controllers, the new readers, and new credentials. We hope that you see this and see that the overall value in a new lineup of applications from ProdataKey. Again, completely redefining the access control industry from a security product perspective. We now want to move into a Q&A. Let's go ahead and kick that off.
I'll pull up my mobile phone here, see if we have any questions. So we have one right away from Dustin Graybill. 125 kilohertz procs cloning has been available in the wild for many years. It's the reason why we don't use PDK readers. I'm glad you finally support 13.56 megahertz.
We are glad as well.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, it's funny. Yeah, that's been around for many years, but not quite as readily available as it is now. And look at the market. Still, 80% of all credentials are still standard weekend credentials. So while that has been around for years, the demand hasn't really exploded like it did in 2019, 2020, and even this year. So we're reacting to the market, reacting to our dealer and integrator partners, and making sure that they have what they need to succeed. So
this has been on our roadmap for a long time, as some of you might note. But you'll always find that we do things for a very distinct purpose and typically at a very distinct time. So what we're not going to do is release a product to you that's not ready for the industry. Typically we'll look at these technologies, pay very close attention to them, and then start to work on an application just like our mobile credentials that's going to be extremely valuable to you at the precise time that it's valuable to the industry. So thank you for your question. What a great point.
It says, here's one from Bentley. Is this replacing your current line?
No, it's not. We've got those that are using PDK today understand that we've got our PDK IO lineup, and that will continue to be available. So again, we're excited to introduce PDK Red, and PDK IO will continue to be available to you.
Okay. Here's a direct question from Simon Blatz. He said, how is the pricing for the Red line coming in compared to the original line? Is it the same price, more or less?
It is less. Like we talked about earlier, our overall strategy and vision for the company is to provide cost-effective access control. Does that mean cheap? Absolutely not. Because cheap also denotes that there's no quality to it or no value. But cost-effective means that it's affordable for those that need access control with all of the features that you would expect from an enterprise-style platform. And so we've actually decreased the cost of our Red lineup of controllers. We won't go over the specific cost here. We have a lot of end users that come on. And so we want you to be able to talk about that cost with your customers. But we have decreased the overall cost per port, in other words, per door, of those controllers that you're going to be installing on the Red line.
Yeah, that's one that we get all the time. And I've been in the pricing meetings. I'm in pretty much all the pricing meetings. We strive to find the absolute most mutually beneficial pricing. PDK is not looking to make the most money off of our dealer partners. We're looking to have fair transactions. We're looking to have partnerships where we move on, where PDK can grow and expand, but our dealer partners have an awesome solution that they can offer to their end users and close deals. And obviously it's working. You know, we're experiencing almost unmanageable growth at PDK. And so we really appreciate you, our dealer partners, integrators, and distributors for helping us make that possible. And we think that this Red line is only going to make us, you know, the more obvious solution, not just for smaller projects, but for full-on enterprise solution projects as well.
And we sat in a meeting yesterday with our development team, and we have been developing products faster and more efficiently than we ever have in the past. This last year has been remarkable for those that have watched the features that have been releasing. We are at a faster pace than we ever have. Our strategy is to lead the industry in technology and functionality. You'll continue to see that. We have another live broadcast in a week that goes over some of the new functionality with Map View and what was the other feature?
Map View is going to be cool. Also the Azure Active Directory.
Azure Active Directory. So we'll talk more about those. But again, you're going to continue to see this functionality, not just from a hardware perspective, but also from a software perspective. So as Dallin talks about the fair transactions and having a partner, we feel that these partnerships that have allowed us to grow in a way that's manageable and has been extremely exciting. If you talk to anybody here at PDK, they'll talk about their excitement and passion for what we're doing today.
Absolutely. We have a good question from Russell Yost. I know him. Will there be onboard memory?
The answer is yes. The all-new Red controllers are built with that functionality. It won't come out with the initial release of the controllers, but all of the controllers are built with onboard memory. So as soon as that functionality is available from a PDK IO perspective, that upgrade will be pushed out to the controllers automatically, just as we have in the last couple of months with the beta program. And then that functionality will be available on every Red product that you've installed.
You know, one of the things that I've learned while working at ProdataKey is the nuances in dealing with software and dealing with hardware. When we set out to build something, it really is interesting, and anybody who's dealt with software and hardware know this, the roadblocks that you can come into. And when you hit a roadblock, you have an opportunity. You can either turn right and do it correctly, or you can make it work. And what we do at PDK is we really do turn right and we make it work correctly. And so while the onboard memory function was slated to come out with the release, we did run into a few things. We want to make sure we do it right, and it should be available soon this year. And anybody who buys a PDK Red controller, that firmware will be pushed and it will be on all available PDK Red controllers.
And some of the other functionality and releases that come out in conjunction because of other changes that we've made on the board and won't release at this time is drastic. So again, like Dallin said, is this functionality, not just from a PDK-IO perspective, but also from a hardware perspective, will completely redefine how you're installing access control. So as you install it, you can feel confident that that functionality will be available in the future, and we're really excited about that.
And we've got some great questions, so prepare yourself.
Okay.
What are the cable specs for OSDP?
That is a good question. I'm going to we've got Tim off here. Can you answer? 22.6. So hopefully that answers.
You need less cables to wire. It's 4 instead of 6 for OSDP. Yeah. And so you will be able to use standard banana cable or access control wire to wire OSDP. And it is an RS-485 protocol. So pretty cool. That's what allows us to actually update the reader remotely.
There's another feature with OSDP that's really intriguing to me, is not just the ability to connect multiple readers to a single port, but also the ability to daisy chain readers. I don't know of a lot of instances where you would do that, but let's say you are utilizing a reader on the wall to activate and deactivate an alarm system, or to maybe interact with a lighting system or HVAC system, as well as doing an in or an out. As Dallin mentioned, you will have the functionality of installing up to 4 readers per port, and those readers can be assigned. So when the new RA8 is released, our aux board, you'll be able to essentially tie one of those readers that might be connected to an R1 directly to the R8 through the functionality of the platform, and control inputs and outputs based on those readers being daisy chained. It also decreases the amount of wiring that you might do. Instead of running a banana cable to each of these applications, now you have the ability to run that 22.6 or 22.5, something like that, to that door.
Yeah, great questions. We have lots more, so here we go. Let's see here. The next one is, can this be added to an existing PDK system? Does it have the same structure, i.e. cloud node, then slave controllers?
It does. The answer is yes. So even if it didn't have the exact same structure, the functionality allows you to still add one of these controllers to an existing system, which we're really excited about. Backwards compatibility was something that was very important to us. Understanding that there still is a functionality difference between the I/O controllers and the new Red controllers, as we've identified in this presentation. So the answer is yes, you can introduce a Red controller into an existing platform. There will be some changes to that in the future. Not functionality changes. You'll always be able to add those 2 different types of controllers to a system. But we've got some really exciting announcements towards the end of the year that will change what that looks like, even though you'll continue to have that functionality.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait to talk about that. Do the new readers only work with Red High? So I think he means, do the new readers only work with the PDK Red High security?
So if you look at the new Red reader lineup, and you're utilizing those on the PDK board, it again is allowing us to push over-the-air updates to each of the Red readers. If you use a HID, which we're huge fans of HID, if you utilize one of their OSDP readers, you can still utilize OSDP on the controller. You just won't have the same update functionality that you would have otherwise. So, that may change in the future, but just know that there's additional over-the-air updates that are available when utilizing the Red controller and a Red reader. But any OSDP reader will have the functionality to connect to PDK Red controllers.
Yeah, and like all of the best high security, high frequency readers and credentials on the market, with our Red readers, you will need to use the Red credentials. So you could even use Red readers on a different system, but you would have to use the Red credentials with it. This is one of the offerings. It's really hard to make something extremely high security and extremely easy to use. But with our PDK system, that's what we're doing, is we are merging those two. What is the ETA for onboard memory? From Lane $.
I like the $, by the way. That's nice.
It could be an S. I'm staring into the sun, so.
It's not something we can really discuss right now. I can tell you that it's an active project, and it's slated for release, towards the end of the year, towards first of next year. Well, we're always going to push it out as far as any promises, but as we get further into this release, we'll have a similar release cadence as we've had for the Red. And we've got to still go through alpha and beta testing. That's very important to us to make sure that you receive a product that's functioning accurately. But again, there's way more functionality that's slated behind onboard memory that will push this far past any other functionality of access control that I'm personally aware of. So we're really excited about that. And that's why we've chose to do further development on this, because it's not just about releasing onboard memory. We're doing it for a very specific purpose. And I can promise you when it's released, it'll be released for the right reason at the right time. But it is a project that's actively being worked on today. And everything, including the new hardware lineup, was developed with that in mind.
Yeah.
So you're talking about redefining an entire hardware platform, but also you have to have everything on the PDK I/O side from a software application and firmware application to support that. And it will support that and much, much more.
Excellent. Great questions. Can you send us a Redline pricing catalog or price list? Absolutely. Reach out to your regional sales manager in your region for pricing on the PDK Redline, which they'll have today. So you'll be able to reach out and get that from them. Is there a Red demo kit available? From Alan Barlow.
That's a great question. That's not something that we've approached yet because, again, the whole new Red lineup isn't out yet. We're very close on the Red 1. The Red 2 is being shipped next week. And again, many beta customers have the 1 and the 2 right now, and they've had great success with it. So once we really flush that out, the answer is yes, we'll have a kit that's available for the Red 2. And we look forward to additional functionality with those kits as well.
Yeah, in the meantime, reach out to your local regional and we can set you up with a demo. We have demo pricing for all of our products, so we'll work that out with you. We want to help you achieve what you need to achieve, and we'll do it at a custom level.
Yeah.
One of our new partners from the Pacific Northwest, GB Manchester, asks, you mentioned PoE++. I'm assuming 802.3 BT. Will that be a requirement, or will 802.3 AF or at still be able to power the controller with an external lock PSU or with a reduced lock amperage?
Whew. That's a great question.
Yeah. So we're going to have Ron reach out to you after this, GB Manchester. We're going to get that question answered for you right away, and we will have Ron reach out to you personally. Ron Kanzer is our Mountain West regional sales manager.
The answer is yes. I'm sure that some of that is the case. We've sat in a lot of meetings where they've talked about the A, Bs, and Cs. And I don't know that I quite understand that. Tim is giving us a thumbs up. So the answer is yes to probably all or most of your question. And again, Ron will reach out to you and give you more defined. But we did slate this with all the latest technology between PoE++, not just on a power side, but functionality as well.
So it will be 802.3B, 3BT. You will be able to use 802.3 AF with reduced amperage.
Wonderful.
So great. Okay. Thank you, Tim. All right. Dustin Graybill asks, OSDP needs to be 2 twisted pairs, not individual straight conductors like Wiegand, or you will experience a lot of interference. More of a statement.
Yeah. Okay. Tim is confirming that that's correct. So yeah, make sure you're using a twisted pair there.
Thank you, Dustin. What type of cable does the Red reader use, and is there a distance limitation? So if you're going to use OSDP, we just confirmed 2 twisted pairs, 4-line cable.
Is there a specific distance that up to 1,000 feet? And I know that we've got a jumper on here that allows you to play with that a little bit. So if you're doing a short run, you're not going to need that. If you're doing a longer run, again, up to 1,000 feet, you just place a jumper, which helps boost that signal.
All right. Kalis Biro asks, are the new Red boards dual voltage? Can you use 12 volts and 24 volts?
I believe you can input 24, is that correct? We're going to get a confirmation
We're
on
getting
that.
the answer.
Again, just know that every one of the controllers comes with its own power supply. So in most cases, you may not need to do that, but there are applications that I'm very familiar with from access control where you run into a lock or other hardware that's already in place and need to use 24 volt. We want to make sure that functionality is available for you.
So Martin Pakin asks, does Red have an additional relay available to bypass alarm circuits?
That's why we've again decreased the cost of each one of the controllers, decreasing the overall cost of your per door experience. So we did eliminate the additional relay on the R1 from the original SIO. And the reason that we did that is we are making the cost-effective RA8. So if you do have other interactions that you need to have with other building management platforms, you'll be able to use the RA8 for mostly the difference in that cost. There will be additional costs there, but it's not going to be significant. We've decreased the cost of that because we eliminated all the reader ports and reader functionality on the RA8 and gives you a lot more functionality with less cost. So the answer is yes, but not much additional cost there, but way more functionality.
Ron Kanzer says, glad Dallin could answer that for me. I'm going to give the credit to Tim on that one. All right, so we have Mem5922 says, we sell several credential formats to our clients, cards, key fobs, prox discs, wristbands. You're saying we can only use PDK only creds for OSDP. Will you be selling all aforementioned formats?
That's not the case. I think you can utilize other OSDP formats on the Red readers. Is that not the case? No, they're tied with the security. That's true. Okay. Yeah, so if you're utilizing a Red reader, you need to use a Red credential because, again, the security is tied between the credential and the reader. But just remember, if you need to utilize a different credential type, then you can utilize a different OSDP reader, and that's not an issue, and then you can utilize their credentials with those readers. It would be nice to have that functionality, but again, like Dallin said, there's a very fine line between ease of use and security, and there are security encryption protocols that match between the credential and the reader. This isn't us saying, hey, because we're selling these readers, we want to sell credentials. It's a very distinct security protocol behind that.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we do have multi-technology readers that'll read standard procs as well, so you'll be able to use all of those formats that you talked about. But initially, we are going to have the multi-technology cards, we're going to have the high-frequency cards, and then we're also going to have the high-frequency fobs. That's for high frequency. You can still utilize all those formats that we offer for standard Wiegand, and reach out to us. Let's talk about it. I mean, we're not against it. If we can figure out a way to support you, we will definitely do it. So that's our whole roadmap, is we react to our partners. Those out there that are utilizing PDK and having success, they tell us, you guys tell us what you need and want, and we implement it as best we can. So let's have a conversation about it. If you need a certain type of credential, we will look into it and make it happen for you.
And you'll find also that our original lineup of readers is not going away. We'll still continue to offer those, and I'm sure into the foreseeable future we'll make those adjustments as necessary.
Yeah, well, that's the end of our questions right there. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to my sales team. We have 5 regional sales managers throughout the U.S. and many representative firms who are doing a great job for us out there. We really appreciate all the hard work. They'll be able to answer any additional questions for you. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this. I think that this product, especially with our award-winning user interface, coupled with this high security offering, is going to be a slam dunk for anybody who wants to either break into the access control industry or increase your access control footprint.
Thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.